Welcome to Saturday morning yoga. I'm so glad to be with you today. Since one of the practices that we've kept coming back to is a modified version of the primary series, that's what we'll be doing today. So welcome to practice today. Thank you for coming. Find a comfortable seat. It may help to prop your hips up with a pillow or a block or a blanket, whatever you may have around the house to support you. Making sure to sit on the forward edge of whatever prop you have. Feel the openness at the top of the thighs, so your sits bones are supported, but the tops of your thighs are free. Tilting your pelvis forward slightly, lengthen the spine, all the way up to the base of the skull. Roll your shoulders forward, up and back, sliding the lower edges of the shoulder blades down the spine. And then continue to lift and lengthen out through the top of the head. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and let it out through the mouth. Again, in through the nose and let it out. You have arrived on your mat for this moment. Be here now. Shift your attention to the breath. Notice the inhale and the exhale. What are the sensations of breathing in? Where do you feel the breath as it enters the body? Are there places where your breath feels constrained? Are there places where it flows freely? Can you allow the belly to relax fully as you breathe in? And shifting the attention to the exhale, noticing the sensations of breathing out. Being aware of where the breath leaves the body. Knowing that throughout our practice today, the breath can serve as a guide to bring us back to this moment, to this space, and to the posture. Throughout our practice today, I invite you, as we hold poses maybe a little longer than you're used to count the breaths, to come back to the breaths, and hold each posture for about 5 inhales and exhales. I look forward to practicing along with you today. If you have padding underneath you, you can take it and put it off to the side. And then go ahead and come to stand at the top of your mat. Stepping your feet together, lift and spread the toes. Lift the front points of the hips, drop the tailbone down. Bring your hands to your heart. Press your chest to your thumbs to your chest as you feel your collarbone broad. And turn up the corners of your mouth. Bend the knees, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, find length in the flat back. Hands to the mat, stepping your feet back, downward facing dog. Lift the heels, roll the body forward, undulating, settling the shoulders right over the wrists, press back through the heels, reach out through the top of the head, draw the belly button in, come back to the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Rocking forward, lowering down, knees come to the mat, elbows brush your ribs. Opening the heart. Tucking the toes, drawing the hips back and up. Coming back to downward facing dog.
Staying here for 5 breaths, moving as you need to, bending your knees, shifting your hips, bending the elbows, spiraling the upper arms outward, re-engaging the whole hand on the mat. Breathing in, breathing out. Lifting the heels, soften the knees and elbows, and then stepping forward to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Bend the knees, round all the way up. Arms reach. And return to heart center. Again, bend the knees, reach the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, hands to the mat, stepping back, downward facing dog. Heels lift, roll the body forward to plank. Rock forward and lower down, elbows right over wrists. Inhale, opening the heart, broad across the collarbones, lift your face. Exhale, drawing back, downward dog. 5 good Ujjayi breaths here. On the inhale, let your belly be soft and relaxed. That feels a little different here in down dog. On the exhale, draw the lower abdomen in and up, expelling the air from the lungs. Find that small constriction at the base of your throat, making the soft sound of the ocean as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, soften the knees and elbows and coming forward, hopping, stepping, floating, or flying. Extend on the inhale. Soften the knees, rounding all the way up, arms reach. And return to heart center. Again, inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, stepping back, downward dog. Heels lift, roll the body forward. Rocking forward and lowering down. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, drawing back and up, downward dog. 5 good breaths. Being sure to attend to the alignment of your hands, making sure the whole hand is on the mat. There's a little bubble of air under the palm, but the base of each knuckle, pad of each finger and thumb is pressing firmly into the mat. Lifting the heels, softening the knees and elbows, and at the very bottom of your breath, coming forward. Inhale, lengthen. And the knees rounding all the way up, arms reach. And return to heart center. Bend the knees, make sure that your feet are together, sweep the arms out and up. Find Utkatasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Hands to the mat, stepping back, downward facing dog. Lifting the heels, rolling forward, settling shoulders over wrists, press back through the heels, rock forward and lower down. Rising up, opening the heart, and drawing back, downward dog. Right foot steps forward between your hands, left foot grounds. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Take a breath here. And out. Again, inhale. Hands to the mat, one long, smooth, slow breath as you lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, drawing back and up, downward dog. Left foot steps forward between your hands, ground the right foot, stacking the spine all the way up. And breathe. On your next exhale, bring the hands to the mat, step the front foot back, and your choice, come to downward facing dog, or again, come through the vinyasa. Opening the heart and drawing back. 5 good breaths here. For those of you that came to downward dog first, you're welcome to come to child's pose for a few breaths if your body is asking for a more restorative practice today. On your next inhale, lift the heels. Exhale fully, softening the knees and elbows. And at the bottom of your breath, come forward. Bend the knees. Oh, let's do that flat back first. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Now bend the knees, sweeping the arms out and up. Utkatasana. And rise. Taking a breath here. Noticing the sensation of breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. One more sun salutation, 2, knowing of course that you can choose to modify and come to child's pose or stay in down dog instead of coming through the vinyasas. Bending the knees, sweep the arms out and up, Utkatasana. Exhale, hold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Hands to the mat, stepping back, downward dog. Lift the heels, rolling forward. Rocking forward, lowering down, tending to the wrists. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, drawing back and up. Your right foot steps forward between your hands. Reach the arms. Find your breath. Shoulder blades come down the back. Relax your shoulders. And hands to the mat. Stepping back. Rocking forward, lowering. Inhale. And exhale. Left foot comes forward between the hands, ground the right foot, starting at the base, find that alignment. Making sure your knee is right out over your front ankle, your back foot pressed into the floor. Hands to the mat. Front foot steps back, coming to downward dog or coming through the vinyasa. And drawing back and up. 5 good breaths here. This may also be a good time to adjust your clothing if you are feeling warmed up. Lifting the heels, softening the knees and elbows, and coming forward. Inhale, flat back. And the knees, sweep the arms, and rise. Thumbs to chest, chest to thumbs. Tuck the chin, finding your breath. Bring the hands to the hips, step the left foot back. Actually, it can be either foot, it doesn't matter. You want to make sure you have about a leg's length between your feet. Shoulders and hips are facing towards the side wall. Draw this hip under, the front hip of the front leg under. Extend your hand down. If you have a block, you're welcome to use that. You can press the back of your hand to your shin. As you do, lift and spiral your ribs towards the ceiling, looking up at your hand if that's appropriate. If you have any discomfort in your neck, feel free to look forward or even down. Coming to the breath. And as if someone were holding you by that hand, lifting all the way up. Hands come to your hips, pivot your feet so you're facing the opposite direction. Arms spread wide, draw that front hip under, extend the hand to the shin. Looking up or sideways as your neck asks.
Coming back to the breath. And lifting up. Hands come to the hips. Step your back foot to meet the front foot, facing the front of the room. Again, your hands come to your hips, stepping back, this time with taking a longer stance. You're on about a leg and a half, and your front heel is bisecting your back arch. Arms come wide, front knee stays bent. Extend the elbow towards the knee, sweep the opposite arm across. As you did before, elbow presses to knee, spiral the ribs open. And then this top arm reaches around the other way, like you're wringing out a washcloth. Can you create as much space on the underside as you have above? Lifting up and out of the shoulder. Coming back to the breath. And standing all the way up, hands to your hips. Spin your feet to face the opposite direction. Check to see that knee is right out over the ankle. Arms spread wide. Extend that front arm down to the leg. Sweep the opposite arm across. And also extend that front hand down inside the shin if you like that. Both hands come to your hips, pivoting to face the front of the room. Back foot meets front foot. Hands to the heart. Hands to the hips once again. Turn and face the side. Again, about a leg's length between your feet. Turn your heels out slightly. Toes, hips, and shoulders all face the side wall. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, folding forward. If it's available to you, your hands can come to the floor, maybe even walking your fingers back so they're in line with your toes. If your elbows bend, stack them over your wrists. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, drawing forward into the fold. Hands come to your hips, soften the knees, rounding all the way up. Taking a breath here, knowing that you can return to the earlier posture or interlacing your hands behind your back, opening the heart, drop the tailbone, exhale, folding forward. Your hands can stay on your lower back if it's too much for your shoulders, or bring them overhead. Breathing in, breathing out. Releasing the bind with your hand, hands come to the hips, soften the knees, coming all the way back up. And stepping to face the front of the mat, hands come to the heart. If balance is feeling elusive today, please feel free to step off of the mat. Otherwise, when you're ready, draw your knee into your chest. And turn slightly here, which may be easier for you to see what's going on. Find a spot that can hold your gaze. Feel free either to continue to hold on to your knee or find your big toe with your first two fingers and extend the leg. Bringing it back in the way that you came and releasing your foot to the floor. Finding the other side, drawing your knee in first. This helps us establish the alignment, keeping broad across the collarbones. Drop the tailbone. Turn up the corners of your mouth. And either continue to hold your knee or find your big toe, working that leg towards straight. It's more important that you stay broad across the collarbones than your leg looks good. Good, hand comes back to the knee, coming out the way you came in. Another choice here for our next balancing pose, you can come to tree posture, bringing your hands to your heart, or you can slide that foot across, letting the knee drop towards the floor. If you like, you can wrap around, find your arm. This is nice because It's a good counterbalance to the muscles that help us stand. Coming back to that breath. And releasing your foot to the floor. And then finding either tree pose or standing half lotus on the other side. And if you are doing tree, just remember to keep your foot against your ankle or your thigh, but not to put your foot against the knee. Releasing the foot, shaking it out. Coming to stand at the top of the mat and step one foot back, bending the front knee over the ankle, pressing through the outer edge of the back foot, lift the front points of the hips, draw the ribs in, reach the arms out and up. Finding warrior one. Relax the shoulders. Turn up the corners of your mouth. And breathe. Hands come to your hips and pivot to face the other side. You know, in class, sometimes I go right to warrior two, but I'm mixing things up today. Check to see that alignment, the knee right over the ankle, pressing into the outer edge, lift the front points of the hips. Find that lift and length from the outside of the foot all the way out through the tips of the fingers without lifting your eyebrows. Hands come back to your hips, stepping back to face the front again. Once again, stepping back. This time you want to make sure your heel's in line with your back arch, shoulders and hips are facing the sidewall, arms reach wide. Check to see if that knee is one side or the other and make sure it's right out over the ankle. Extend your gaze out over the front fingers, finding that balance between leaning forward and drawing back. Shoulders stacked right over your hips. Bringing your hands to your hips, pivot your feet to face the opposite direction. Finding that alignment again. Stacking the shoulders over the hips, extending the arms. Looking out over the front fingers. Hands come to your hips, step your back foot to meet the front foot. Stepping your feet close together, bend the knees, sweep the arms out and up. Utkatasana. Check to see that you're wrapped, your ribs are wrapped, and you're extending the tailbone, moving that back bend to the place right up between the shoulder blades. And exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Hands to the mat, stepping all the way back, downward facing dog. Lift the heels, roll the body forward. Rock forward and lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, opening the heart. Exhale, drawing back and up, downward dog. And finding your way to the floor. You can either jump through and sit on your bum, or you can bring your hands and knees to the floor and swing your legs around. Extend the feet out in front of you. Move any extra padding you may have out from underneath you. Bring your hands to either side of your hips. Press your hands down, lengthen the spine. Engage the muscles of the pelvic floor. Draw the lower abdomen in and up. Bring your chin to your chest. Flex the feet so much that you can slide a piece of paper under your heels. Dandasana. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, folding forward.
Staying in the pose, extend along the spine on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthening the spine and coming all the way back up. So for those of you who have practiced Ashtanga Yoga before, you know that in the seated portion of the primary series, there is the option to do a vinyasa between each side of or between each pose. You do one side and then the second side, and then the option to do a vinyasa. If you'd prefer not to do that for one posture or for any of the postures, you have a couple of options. You can come to downward facing dog without doing a full vinyasa. You can come to 5 breaths of seated meditation. The object is to find the symmetry, to come back to your breath, and to give your body a moment between postures to recalibrate. So I will be giving several options and demonstrating them along the way. You should feel free to choose whichever option works best for you in each moment. So to that end, this is our first option. So you can choose to come through a vinyasa, stay in down dog, or take 5 quiet breaths in seated meditation. And return to a seated posture at the end. Drawing one leg into your thigh. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, pivot towards that front foot and fold forward. Staying in the forward fold, on your next inhale, lengthen the spine and fold. Breathing in, breathing out. Starting at the base of the spine, lengthen all the way up. Bring both feet forward and draw the opposite foot in. Notice the strong flexed foot on the straight leg. Inhale, lengthen, pivoting towards that front leg and folding forward. Again, starting at the base of the spine, lengthening all the way up. Coming back to a seated position. So you have a choice here. Coming through a vinyasa, 5 breaths of meditation, or simply coming to downward facing dog for 5 breaths. Inhale, lift the heels. Find your way back to a seated posture. And this time, extending both legs, drawing one leg in to rest the sole of the foot on the floor. Reaching the same arm out in front, press your shin to your arm to your shin. Use that to extend forward and fold. You can keep your hands here, or you have the option to find a bind. If that doesn't feel accessible to you, but you're close, you can always try a sock. It's a great way to help make the connection between your hands. When you're ready, folding forward. Making sure to flex that front foot a lot. If you're in the bind, releasing the bind, extend the spine, and finding your way to the other side, lengthening the other leg, bringing the sole of the foot to the floor. Again, that same front arm extends around and really pushing here to lengthen the spine
And can rest on the floor, or you can find that line. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Releasing the bind, extend the spine. And find your way through. This time, I'm going to choose to stay in seated meditation for 5 breaths. You may choose to do a vinyasa or come to downward facing dog. When you're ready, coming back to your seat, lengthening your legs, drawing one leg in as before. This time, reach the opposite arm, that bent leg, wrap it around the knee. Bring your hand around behind you to support you. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, come into the twist, drawing the shoulders across that front knee. Turning your face out to face your front toes, releasing the twist, and coming to the other side. Opposite arm is the bent leg, wrap it around the knee. Your hand comes around to support you, making tense with your fingers. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, drawing the ribs across that front thigh. Flexing the front foot, toes point towards the ceiling. Turning your head out over the front toes, release the bind, and find your interlude here. Maybe you're choosing to come through a vinyasa, maybe staying in downward facing dog. Bringing the soles of your feet together when you return. I think we're not there yet. Coming to our favorite posture, Navasana, boat pose. Bringing your hands behind the thighs, soles of the feet rest on the floor. Rocking back a little bit. You may choose to stay here, holding onto the thighs. You may bring your feet up, maybe even bring your hands parallel to the shins. If that's not enough, you want to go further, you can straighten the knees. You can bring the arms up alongside. If, like me, you're shaking, maybe find your way back to a middle ground. Broad across the collarbones. Release the feet to the floor. If you have blocks around you, you may want them for this. If you don't, you're going to take your hands, press them to either side of the hips, and see if you can lift something up off the floor. The secret is drawing the lower abdomen in and up as if that were your lift. And go ahead, try lifting something up off the floor. Good. Feet come back. Hands come behind the knees and extend the fingers. Make sure you're breathing. Turn up the corners of your mouth. And thank yourself for doing some yoga today. Again, cross the feet, hands to the floor, lift something up. Maybe you could lift something else up. One foot or the other. And settle back down. Soles of the feet together. Inhale, lengthen the spine, grow tall. You may choose to stay here, allowing the hips to relax and the knees to sink towards the floor. Or you may begin to fold forward. Beginning at the base of the spine, lengthen along the spine, coming all the way up. Bring your hands to either side of your knees. Knees come together, and go ahead and roll all the way down onto the back. Check to see that your fingers can reach your heels as you tuck your heels up close to your hips. Keep your feet hips distance apart. And on your next inhale, begin to peel your lower back up off the floor. You may choose to spiral your shoulders outward, pressing your inner fingers to your inner heels. Releasing your hands if you have them in a bind, and then lowering down one vertebrae at a time until your hips come to the floor, letting your knees rock side to side. And then choosing a second back bend, you can come into bridge as we just did, or you can come into full wheel. You can also take a block, tuck it under your hips, and find a restorative bridge here. Wherever you are on your next inhale, begin to find your way into the posture. Tucking your chin, turning to the floor again, letting your knees rock side to side. We have a couple of choices here for an inversion. You may choose to come into shoulder stand, or again, tuck something under your hips, or better yet, find a wall and stick your legs up the wall. If you're choosing to come to shoulder stand, you can also have a blanket tucked just at the upper edge of your shoulders, leaving your neck and head free, as you wish. If you're in shoulder stand, you can begin to bring your feet overhead, keeping your hands on your lower back until your feet touch the floor. They do. And then slowly lowering down. Again, one vertebrae at a time until your hips touch the floor, and then you can bend your knees and settle your feet on the floor. Go ahead and bring your hands behind your leg. Rock and roll your way to a seated position. Sitting up nice and tall, point the toes. Bring your hands to behind you so that the fingertips are pointing towards your hips. Lower down onto your elbows. Inhale, and bring your top of your head back towards the floor, coming into fish posture. And release. Again, coming back to sit. If you have that blanket from earlier in the class, you just tuck it under your hips. This is also a good time to grab that sweatshirt or socks if you want to have a little extra warmth as we come into our final postures here. Bringing the hands to the knees, or holding the hands in the lap, cradling one hand within the other, letting the thumbs touch just ever so slightly. Release the Ujjayi breath. Let your inhale and exhale come naturally and easily. As we take a few breaths of quiet meditation, you can count your breaths. Consider placing a number on each exhale. Breathing in Breathing out, 1. Breathing in. Breathing out, 2. Knowing that when you get to 10, there's no prize. Simply begin again. And if you find that your mind has wandered, or when you find that it has wandered, simply invite the attention back to the breath without judgment and begin again at 1. You are welcome to remain in seated meditation or to find your way onto your back into Shavasana. Bringing your shoulder blades down, turning your hands palm up, letting your feet flap open. Allow the muscles of the face and hands and belly to relax and release as you feel the support of the floor. Feel free to cover yourself with a blanket. I'll be with you for the next 3 or so minutes, but feel free to stay longer past the ending of the video if your body is asking for this quiet time. There is a hard truth to be told. Before spring becomes beautiful, it is ugly, nothing but mud and muck. But in that muddy mess, the conditions for rebirth are being created. In that muddy mess, the conditions for rebirth are being created. That's from Parker Palmer through the Network for Grateful Living. Allow your breath to deepen and to make small movements with your fingers and your toes. Gently rocking your head from side to side. When you're ready, draw your knees into your chest. Maybe grabbing opposite wrists or forearms. And rocking over onto one side. Take a full breath here. Through the nose. And let it out through the mouth. Again. In through the nose. And let it out. Allowing your hands to help you come back to a seated posture. Letting your attention sift back to the breath. We'll end our practice today with the sound of home. You can listen or chant as you choose. Inhaling together. Thank you for joining me today in our practice. I'm thinking of you all very, very much. Wherever you are, know that you are cared for, that you are safe and well, finding gratitude in small moments through your day. Namaste. And have a really, really great weekend, everybody. Take care.